Everybody, it is very late and I'm very sorry. Couldn't be helped. Couldn't be helped. We are at 1,599. 1,599 days since Richard was premeditatedly murdered. It's a code red on Fort Bliss. On Fort Bliss. That's right. An internal murder. Um, for everything looks good. Um, yeah, everything looks good, and I'm sorry I'm so late. A lot of you are gonna have to rewatch it. Um, but it just can't be helped because the strides that we are making are so great, and everything is in God's timing. Everything is in God's timing, and what happened to Richard is so bad, y'all. It's so bad. Um, to be betrayed as a whistleblower is so bad. To be betrayed as a whistleblower by your own unit is so bad. Um, to be betrayed by as a whistleblower by your unit, by the chain of command, by the four-star general. There is no doubt in my mind. No doubt because of the 4 years plus more than 4 years of evidence, hard evidence, circumstantial evidence, irregularities that we have collected that confirm that Clem Coward was in on this, that Major General Clem Coward was in on this, that General Michael Xavier Garrett was in on this, that General McConville, James McConville, General Mealy, um, Major General Sean Bernabe, Major General Donna Martin, IG. Okay, so she was Provost Marshal and they gave her an extra star. Who was that? Veronica Escobar? I mean, we've had to deal with Veronica Escobar, who has politicized the Walmart mass shooting case, the false narrative, um, not blinking an eye about the victims, not blinking an eye about throwing a special needs person under the bus to foment their white supremacy, their racist, false rhetoric, and then politicize it against President Trump. Absolutely. And, the using the CID, weaponizing the CID, weaponizing the FBI, 15 plus agencies. The Iran Contra scandal pales in comparison to our son's case. And hundreds of thousands of unaccounted for, unaccompanied children, right? Unaccompanied. As a parent, as a Gigi, I'm a Gigi, right? I'm a grandmother. To think of hundreds of thousands of children being unaccompanied, that means they were absolutely taken. These are taken children. Okay? They're not it just absolutely is horrifying to think of just a few children, one child being unaccompanied. A few children unaccompanied is like, what? But you're talking about hundreds of thousands of unaccompanied children that now are mostly dead. And, for Veronica Escobar to not do a congressional on that, to not do a congressional on Richard's case, on Glendon Oakley Jr.'s case, on the Walmart case, on, to even refuse to meet with President Trump, but to politicize a false narrative using uh, 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 an autistic, severely mentally special needs individual to use as a patsy to put forth a false narrative so that she can level some hate against her political rival and totally go against her duty, her oath for the people there in El Paso that absolutely are connected like Siamese sisters, twin sisters with Juarez, Mexico. Whatever happens in El Paso, it's felt twice as much in Juarez, Mexico, because the United States is incredible. It is so wealthy. We look at the corruption we have, and we still have, a certain quality of life. I'm not satisfied with that quality of life. I want better, because I know that the corruption needs to be addressed, and we would have just this incredible economy, incredible. We are trillions of dollars in debt. Where did that go? We can't even picture. We should be on gold roads. We should be on gold roads. And we should not have to go through families, Gold Star families like us, should not have to go through over 4 years of being told. Yeah, people have to remember, we were told that we would have to investigate our son's murder for ourselves. So we have 15 plus agencies that want to just, you know, um, get all the benefits without doing their duty, being weaponized. And we're told that we have to investigate. We want to know where our son is. And 4 years, why do we have to go through this? And then, let what is it, the DOGE that Musk and Ramaswamy is in charge of? Let them start cutting. Let them start cutting. I'm telling you, you know, um, wow, wow, and here we are at almost 1,600. We might be at 1,600, 1,599 days since Richard was dismembered, separated, his remains dishonored, and then to proceed to dishonor his memory, his name, his legacy. In our family, legacy means something. Our names mean something. Um, to have a good character means something to us. To have a good reputation means something to us. It's very important to us. And for them to have smeared Richard right off the bat when he was distinguished honor graduate and not even mention that, put red flags up for us. We knew something was up. We knew something was up. That they did not have the best intention for our son. No, that they did not have his back. That he was a soldier that was left behind. That he was a soldier that was targeted. And of course, our family began to be targeted. And it became very clear when you have vile, vulgar, absolutely sex cult, disgusting people text you day in and day out on your hotline so that you can get information from people about your murdered son, but they want to use it to harass, to threaten, to intimidate, to gross out, to do a psychological, these are asymmetric warfare tacticians, literally epic, right? Literally. And because we're a military family, we smelled a rat. It was very stinky. And we also saw the politicizing of every part of this against President Trump. Falsely putting out false narratives, putting out false narratives about our son, about our family. Praise God that our family does care about their reputation, does care about their legacy, and they are sparkling clean. They are so sparkling wonderful. And because let me tell you, they just went over it with a fine tooth comb. They without a warrant sent this team in full battle gear to our house to search our house. I mean, that costs money. So they misappropriated the monies that we have entrusted to them to run our government, to have safety, to have beautiful cities, to have beautiful businesses that are safe, to have safe borders, but they've misappropriated. They've grown fat. These these criminal groups, and they took advantage of the very country, the very beautiful uniform. We have generals. There's no doubt in my mind that these General Garrett, he needs to be stripped from our beautiful uniform. You see, he took advantage of it for his own personal gain, for his own personal financial gain. He took advantage of all of the benefits that we provide him. And let me tell you, those generals, they get some benefits. They get their jets, right? They get their planes, they get their pilots. And that's why we've been looking at the planes are a big issue. The planes are a big issue. And you have Dallas Hart once again involved in that. You have Deborah Sarah West involved in that. And other names I can't mention, not yet, but everyone knows about their pilot things, escapades. There is not a doubt in my mind that Fort Bliss was up to no good. The leadership there, the leadership was up to no good. They took advantage of their beautiful uniforms, of their benefits, of their stars that we provide them. They abuse the power of the tools that we give them. Now, if they do that, what about our weapons? They abuse that also. What about our soldiers? They abuse that also. So, is there any wonder why we can't win? Why Afghanistan was such a disaster? Why now Syria has fallen? why there is a uneven distribution of power, and so you have uh, more and more violence happening. Why you see what's going on and with the and I don't, I'm praying that they're alive with the prisoners that are held captive in Israel or Palestine. It's just what you see in Ukraine, and and our education system not even allowing a fair uh, pathway into knowing the history of all of this, so that the media couldn't pull the wool over your eyes, over our eyes. I mean, the whole Ukraine thing, the whole Afghanistan thing, and the media is they're the enemy of the United States is mass media. Look at for months and months. I mean, they give this false narrative, of course, in El Paso, of course, with the Walmart. They uh, look. You have Judge Madrano now delaying the Walmart mass shooting. Another year, another year. You have usurper Bill Hicks, who came in saying, "Oh, I'm going to do this." Didn't do it diddly. All he did was mess up and became a usurper. He couldn't even sign his anti-bribe line. He couldn't even sign his anti-bribe line legally, legally, so that he would have authority to handle the Walmart mass shooting case like he said he was going to do. I mean, we've got an unelected El Paso criminal law magistrate court. Everything they do is without jurisdiction, without authority, as imposters, as impersonators. We've got a criminal, we've got an illegal, which makes him a criminal, an illegal chief medical examiner. We've got Veronica Escobar, who has taken advantage of everything. She's the one that approved the funding of this unelected court. She approved the funding of the chief medical examiner. She is the one that refused to meet with President Trump after the Walmart mass shooting. I would like to know the real story behind that, because she absolutely knew that Richard was reporting trafficking. He had rattled the criminal trafficking enterprise there, the epicenter, El Paso, Texas, with Juarez, Mexico, Fort Bliss. Fort Bliss. He rattled it. And so today was just an amazing day. Thank you, Anicia, for coming on. Thank you, Martha, for coming on. And thank you for your prayers and your love. It has been an incredible day, um, because absolutely we have been banned and banned, and the criminal trafficking group did not want us to connect with President Trump, and they failed. They failed. They failed. And that's breaking news. They did not want us to connect with him. And especially if he had his rightfully deserved authority as the number one chief law enforcer officer, right? He is not only the commander in chief of the military, but he's the chief law enforcer. And it is it's really an amazing day. Amazing, amazing day. And that wave of accountability. And just to see Danae Katzen on the most wanted list without, with no bond, because she is such a danger to society, such a danger. And, really, there's a huge part of me um, that just cries because what are they doing to our young people? What has this criminal group done to our young people? She's not old, she's a young person. They're turning them into perpetual criminals that do such harm. I mean, Dallas Hart is the suspect of the murder of our son. He's not old. And the murder is brutal. Brutal. And when you think about Leilani Hart's letters, her confessions, her affidavit that was notarized, that show from a young age and I'm not making excuses for him. He absolutely needs to be arrested. They absolutely need to try him. He absolutely needs to pay for whatever they find him guilty of. And we will share all of our evidence. Absolutely. And we have to go through this because all of these crimes against the children, think about the crimes against their own children that the Harts have done. That cannot be tolerated. That cannot be tolerated to even do that to your own children. That they grow callous, that they turn around and do it to others. It's like a dominoes effect. And for those families that work hard to raise a healthy family and with good character, law abiding, to become victims of these sex cultist offsprings that become sex cultists. I mean, it's and criminal, absolutely criminal. So, to want accountability, but to have a broken heart, think about those emotions. We've got to have accountability. It's our only choice. Otherwise, we fall down into the deepest pit where there is gnashing of teeth and crying and just death and death and death and suffering. And so I've said it over and over again every time something more evidence comes out, more people reach out, um, people become courageous and let us know what happened and identify what happened and provide hard evidence. And we have the audio recordings of Joe Spencer, the defense attorney that is so up to no good in the Walmart case, in Richard's case, in El Paso, in that, he is so up to no good. And we have those audio recordings and we have filed them over and over again. And we have shared them with you, and we need to share them more. And so please share them all over the place, because he needs to be held accountable. And the authorities have to be driven to do their duty to hold these people accountable for their absolute perpetual continuous crimes that they commit over and over again that hurt so many. Think about the millions and millions of dollars for Richard's case. Millions and millions. They won't even answer that open records. We demand to know how much money has been spent on Richard's case. And that is for everyone to demand. How much money have they spent on Patrick Crush's case? Past 5 years of millions of dollars. We know partially how much they have spent. Millions of dollars. And Judge Medrano today is agreeing to delay it longer, and so is the usurper, Bill Hicks, delaying it to go, into the next year. Bill Hicks, what is he doing? And we have audio tapes, and they all have them. We have given Sam Medrano the audio tapes. We have given even Joe Spencer knows we have the audio tapes. Bill Hicks knows we have he even has the audio tapes that prove that Patrick Crusius could not be a lone shooter, that he could not be a white supremacist, that he could not be a racist, that he could not ask for millions of dollars from the people because he did have net worth. He does have net worth. And yet, the application for counsel said zero net worth. And so the taxpayers, state and federal taxpayers, had to pay millions of dollars for him. And so even though you might say, oh my gosh, they took advantage of this autistic self-harming since he was 3 years old, special needs individual. So yes, but we were not supposed to pay for his defense forcibly. They could have done his family could have said, look, we need to do a GoFundMe. Like we had to work so hard to raise the money to do what we have done in Richard's case. When they threw us out and we thought, oh my gosh, they have no intention. We have to go there. We have to do this. What is this going to, how are we going to get attorneys? How are we going to get private investigators? How are we going to live there? So what I'm saying is, why was the taxpayer put on the hook forcibly? Because a application for counsel in well, we have proof, was fraudulent and zero net worth. And Joe Spencer didn't mention it, didn't bring it up, didn't reveal the fraud because he had told the federal and state courts that he wanted an open checkbook, that he didn't want to nickel and dime for he wanted an open checkbook. He wanted those millions of dollars. He wanted to put the American people on the hook for millions of dollars, and that was okay for him. And he wouldn't mention that Patrick Crusius was not didn't care, said, I didn't care that you have a brown backside. I don't care. I'm not a racist. I don't have racism. That he could not have been a lone shooter. This is what we get for our millions and millions of dollars. He needs to pay restitution. He needs to pay for his crime and he needs to pay restitution. Give it back and then some. Liquidate. Liquidate. Give us back our money. And I think that General Garrett should do the same. He needs to be stripped of his uniform, stripped of his stars, and he needs to liquidate and give us back our money. Because he has betrayed the Constitution. He's betrayed his countrymen. He has betrayed his soldiers. He's betrayed the creed. He's betrayed everything for profit. And he has, who knows what else harm he has done, engaged in this trafficking. And it had led to the brutal murder of our son and the cover up and a search on our house without a warrant and the retaliation against him and our family. And they tried very hard with all of their money, their ill-gotten money, to block us, pay for their asymmetric warfare, keyboard warrior groups, to harass us, report us, block us, so that we would never get into contact with President Trump. And they failed. They failed. And it's all in good timing. It's all in God's timing. And we are patient. And we are waiting. And we are wanting. And we are able. And we are going to just march forward. And I put that unbelievable painting, and I was like, oh my gosh, my grandson, we saw that painting this weekend, and he goes, Gigi, look at that angel with that sword. Wow. And I went, yeah, wow. And I can't tell you the rest, but I put up that painting. And I thought, in my mind, I was organizing how I can paint it, How can I paint it? Oh, yeah, I gotta start with this nice brown background on my canvas. Oh, man, I wanna paint that. Just beautiful. And I thought about the Apostles' Creed. I thought about the Apostles' Creed, and I thought about Richard, and it just all kinda wove in together. And so, so earlier today, yeah, you see how we put the Apostles' Creed together with Richard's um, story, and it's very powerful, very powerful. And then we just had a very powerful day. This criminal group, they never, they don't want the truth to come out. They don't want us to get together. They don't want us to get courage. They don't want us to stand and up against the gates of hell, right? They don't want us to charge the gates of hell. They don't want to be held accountable because when you look, they are lawless and the law is on our side because they are lawless. They will switch numbers, they will switch numbers. They will delete things, erase things. They will forge things. Uh, they will usurp. They will be illegal. They will absolutely forsake their duty. They will take advantage of their power. They will abuse their power. They violate the law in every way. And so, can you imagine if Patrick Crucius wasn't so, because I think he's being mentally intimidated. And why do I think that? Because you can see by these 5+ years that they don't want to go to trial. They don't care about um, a jury pool. They don't care about that because they don't want a jury pool. They don't want to go to trial at all because they know that if they went to trial and had truth would come out, that Patrick's truth would come out. They know. And so, why did they parade him around in the jail clothes? Why did they do that to Patrick Crucius? Why did they put a bulletproof vest on him? Why did they put chains around his waist and his wrists and his ankles? Why did they do that? He surrendered peacefully to a Hispanic law enforcement officer with not with clean shirt, clean pants, clean shoes. The narrative never fit, never fit. And of course, we got the information that he surrendered himself twice. He surrendered himself a little bit too early. Maybe he needed to go back and eat his orange before he came back and did it again or whatever. And this is all like in minutes of when all this, man, when all that comes out, it is going to be, yeah, it's going to be something, boy. It's going to be a story forever and ever. It is a story. And why do they want to parade him around, which is so illegal? And, we've thought about it and thought about it, and we're like, you know what? He's autistic. He's autistic. He's special needs. and they want to control him. Because if he ever got a chance to defend himself and speak out, it would be the end of this criminal group. So I think that all of that gear are tools that they are abusing and misusing to intimidate him, Patrick Crusius, to think that people hate him. That's why certain individuals said things to him, knowing full well. When all that comes out, it will reveal a lot of things. Bliss Avenue, Bliss Avenue, Bliss Avenue, Ernest Christopher Grant, Donna Safford, El Paso police officer. Yeah. It is, I know that they isolated Richard because he told me. And of course, it was, 2020, and you're thinking, oh, well, they're doing that to the soldiers. But then you find out that the soldiers were having parties. They were having parties. They were getting drunk. They were bringing in the girls during the whole lockdown and having parties. And so, no, it was just Richard. Maybe some other whistleblowers out there. I don't know. I think that Asia Graham, that would be interesting. So, I don't want to say it's just Richard, but it was really, he was whistleblowing. We have it confirmed. The weapons trafficking, the ammunition trafficking, his unit involved in it, his unit connected to the Walmart mass shooting. That is confirmed, y'all. That is not, oh, I suspect, apparently. No, it has been confirmed that his unit is connected to the Walmart mass shooting, and they were engaged in weapons, ammunition trafficking. So it has been a great day. I mean, of course, it's 1:24 here, AM. And so sorry that coming on so late, but it has been one wowzer of a day. And they didn't want us to have a connection, get into connection, have a conversation with President Trump, and they failed because we absolutely know that everything that happened was politicized to produce a false narrative to use against President Trump in 2019, 2020, and beyond. And Veronica Escobar refused to meet with him. She absolutely pushed this false narrative of white supremacy and racism, which is just the lowest. I mean, my goodness, she's such a criminal, y'all. She's such a criminal. And she failed to do a congressional with Richard's case. She failed to do a congressional on these children's camps. She failed to do her duty in so many ways. And Um, and she was really up to no good in other ways too. Just up to no good. She needs to be stripped of her position, absolutely, and pay restitution for her betrayal. And then the courts need to decide. And this is the thing with the Daniel Penny. And I'm going to mention it briefly. Hold on. I want to mention it briefly because look at what you know, the courts acquitted him. And yet, for some, that's not good enough, right? That's not good enough. I don't know what they want. Do they want more violence? You know, and what that's telling me is that the respect in the courts have taken a big hit, and that's because of the weaponization of the system and the media being helpful in the weaponization of the system, which is so detrimental to our country. So that's really all I want to say about that. Um, and the shooter, um, you know, enough information hasn't really come out. And so it's really good to be patient and, just pray that Hegseth gets in there. Pete Hegseth becomes the Department of Defense Secretary. He needs to clean up the corruption there in the Pentagon. Seven audits that have failed, trillions of dollars. That screams of, oh yeah, there's trafficking. I mean, the red flags go up. For me, they go up, especially that I know that we've confirmed that there was weapons trafficking, ammunition trafficking going on in Richard's unit that's connected to the Walmart mass shooting. So, and then of course, Kash Patel, he's the other one. Um, FBI director. Pray he gets in. He absolutely, we've been, just checking all these people, the DEA, the sheriff, he kind of went away. I don't know if they announced another DEA because that's important to us too. Um, so maybe, um, just pray about that and hopefully we'll get some real leadership in there. Real leadership. So all this talk about Kash Patel not having the qualifications, they only wish they had his qualifications because we looked, it's kind of like the first time Trump came down the escalator and he said, we're going to build the wall and make Mexico pay for it. And I went, oh my gosh, who is this guy? Because I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't pay attention to him. Okay, he was on, what is it, Alone? Alone on the Christmas special. But, I didn't know. I didn't pay attention. And I did then. We did then. And I think for weeks, we would stay up till super late at night and just research who this man was. that wanted to be president of the United States that said that, right? And to us, it was mainly an economic statement because of the deficit that we have with Mexico. It wasn't a racist statement to us, but everyone takes it a different way. But we just wanted to know who would dare say that. Who is this man that would even say it? And, we looked up his financials and it was just like, oh my gosh, it's just, he's so qualified, so overqualified. Why does he even want to be president? He's so overqualified for the position because of his financials. When you have built towers all over the world and hotels and golf courses and all the businesses to support everything that you're building, with all the different laws, with all the different politics, with all the different, it's just, and to even do anything in Scotland. It's like, what? He bought a hotel and a golf course in Scotland and redid it in Scotland. Wow, I can't even imagine what it took to do that politically and through their laws in that. It's just in Ireland it would be probably maybe a little easier. I don't know. He would have to tell us. And I think he might have an opportunity to tell us how he did that and what the difference was between Ireland and Scotland. And then, of course, in Korea, we went by. He has towers in Korea, in Seoul. Is it Seoul? Guangzhou? Anyway, in order to do that, you have to have the art of the deal. It just has to be part of your DNA. I don't have that as part of my DNA. I have a love for my family. I have a love for my son. And I feel like that angel with a big sword. How dare they do that to our family? How dare they do that to our son? And they can't get away with it. They must be held accountable and pay restitution so that we can restrain this kind of evil. Absolutely. So that I have in my DNA. But that art of the deal, that's just a very special thing. And we are very blessed to have a president that has the art of the deal as part of his DNA. It probably will, well, he's the only president in his 4 years that didn't start a new war. Hallelujah. So, and I think that he's been already France. Wasn't that this weekend? Wasn't that like the art of the deal? Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was amazing. And today was amazing. We're very, very fortunate to have a president that has the art of the deal as their DNA. And we have to pray that he does well, because if he does well, we'll do well. I think he announced today also that he will not be taking the $400,000 due to him for being president, his salary for being president of the United States. I think that's kind of wrong. I think he should get, don't muzzle the ox, right? Do not muzzle the ox. You've got to, we set up aside from taxpayers. Believe it's $400,000 now to pay our president. And he should get that. but he says he's not taking it. He says he's not taking it. Um, because they will, these evildoers will politicize it against him. And, but anyway, I think that, he works hard. That campaign was absolutely amazing. You had Veronica Escobar handed what, $1.4 billion, and she used it on twerking and Oprah. And what a disaster. What a disaster. And they had the media behind them and this criminal group behind them that has loads of money from trafficking with their asymmetric warfare keyboard warrior groups behind, and typing away and reporting and all this stuff to stop people from telling the truth. And yet Trump, with a third of that money, worked very, very hard with others and had a landslide win, a victory that was a landslide. Can you imagine what really the numbers are? That gives you a lot of hope. That gives us a lot of hope. And I'm just very humbled, very humbled to be an American today with all of um, the mess that we're in, to be able to have President Trump with the DNA of the art of the deal to be our president. And I'm not been offered any kind of promises. This is just, if you look back at my Facebook and at whatever, um, I was Trump. I was a trumpet, blow the trumpet. Um, let's have the art of the deal. Let's have a roaring economy. Let's work hard. Let's have good character. Let's have loyalty. Let's have the creed. Let's have the Medal of Honor ethos. Let's care. This is the other thing with the Daniel Penny thing, is the process has become so painful that you have to be like super courageous to want to help people, you know, to want to help people, because you're helping people, and the process can be so wicked against you. Um anyway, yeah, and we have to, one thing in this country that maybe we're losing. I don't know if we're losing it. You tell me. um and it goes to that whole ambulance down in the valley thing, right? The ambulance down in the valley. But it is, when you see someone drowning, when you see someone hurting, when you see someone being robbed, when you see, something like this happening, you're supposed to be a citizen cop, right? You're supposed to be a citizen cop. We have citizens arrest. And we just don't walk by. And I heard that in China, the process is so bad and the risk is so high that a person would not even dare to try to rescue a drowning dog, much less a drowning human, that they would not interfere at all if they saw a crime. And I don't want to live in a society like that. And in Richard's case, they didn't have his back. The unit didn't have his back. The unit, we have confirmation, are the suspects in the murder of Richard and involved in trafficking and connected to the Walmart mass shooting. They didn't have his 6. And those that wanted to were ordered. Remember Glendon Oakley Jr., he was ordered to take down his social media. He was ordered. And so any cry for help was taken away from him. And of course, they then try to take away your pay. And then if you have Bitcoin, they try to freeze your assets. It was a brutal retaliation. So I just want to say thank you so much to everybody. And we absolutely had a great day. And we will, please share those audio recording transcripts and the audio recordings. I'll put some more up there. Give me some time, right? We have so much coming in and so much that has to be answered to. So many responses that we have to give that we're working really, really hard to absolutely give you the tools to help us. And in so doing, help El Paso. In so doing, absolutely, Richard's conquering this trafficking, right? Richard's case is conquering this trafficking, and that will help so many, so many. So thank you so much. God bless you, and I will be back tomorrow, God willing.